You've seen Papa John's face on countless pizza commercials. But what do you really know about the man, or the company, behind the pizza? The guy you see in the commercials isn't an actor. AMC's The Walking Dead has taken its viewers through a whirlwind of emotions over the years, ultimately wrapping things up with its 11th season. He's John Schnatter, and he really is the founder, and one-time CEO, of Papa John's, one of the biggest pizza chains in the country. He's also found himself embroiled in some pretty big controversies as of late, including a really nasty one that led to him leaving the company. We're guessing there's still a lot you need to learn about the guy, aside from the fact that he makes a darn good pizza. So here are some things you might not know about him, and the company he created. He's claimed protesting NFL players are hurting the business in 2017. Papa John's experienced the beginning of a very rocky road. After record profits in 2016, they released less than stellar financial reports for the third quarter of 2017. The post-apocalyptic horror show based on the comic book series of the same name has amassed millions of viewers who continue to show their devotion by watching the spin-offs, Fear the Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead, World Beyond. It's safe to say that The Walking Dead wouldn't be the success it is today without its brilliant cast and the characters they portray. Audiences have watched relationships between characters grow, divide, and even fall in love because lust can still be found with two strangers in a world full of killer zombies. Shares dropped 11% after the numbers went public, and the net worth of Papa John himself dropped $70 million. Throughout the seasons, fans have met many characters who have formed romantic relationships with one another, and while some of those fans wish these relationships were real, Maggie and Glenn, the stars who play the characters are in real-life relationships with totally different people. Gear up, because we're about to get into the love lives of The Walking Dead cast. Oh, and fair warning, there are series spoilers ahead. Sarah Wayne Callies drew a parallel between her real life and character's life. Sarah Wayne Callies starred as Lori Grimes, Rick Grimes' wife, on the hit show. After learning how to fight off zombies and even some humans, Callies' character faced a tragic end on the third season, which the actor was all in favor of after reading the comics. I've said from the beginning, not only am I okay with Lori dying but I think she has to, she told The Hollywood Reporter. You don't have to feel too badly for him. Forbes said he was still worth around $801 million, but he took it personally. I've played this character with an eye toward an end. Callies' character was also known for her intimate relationship with Rick's work partner Shane Walsh, which began after she believed her husband was dead. However, that all ended when Rick appeared at the campsite and the two faced their marriage head-on, especially when she learned she is pregnant with Walsh's daughter. According to Schnatter, the losses were the fault of the NFL and their inability to resolve the controversy around players kneeling during the national anthem. Papa John's is the official pizza sponsor of the NFL, after all, and more in-depth reports on ESPN showed just how much Schnatter blamed the NFL for his company's failings. Leadership starts at the top, and this is an example of poor leadership, he said. Papa John's was hailed as the official pizza of the alt-right. Schnatter pointing the finger at the NFL and blaming the ongoing player protests for his own company's declining business was just opening a whole can of ugly worms. Of course, this scenario is nothing like Callies' real-life relationship. Per Married biography, she's been married to Josh Winterholt since 2002. It was only days later that neo-Nazi site The Daily Stormer, via the Huffington Post, published a piece on how Schnatter's accusations and opinions would make Papa John's a perfect candidate for becoming the official pizza of the alt-right. Winterholt sure seems to keep a low profile, and sure steers clear of Callies' Instagram account, apparently, but we do know that the couple met while attending Dartmouth and had their daughter in 2007 and adopted their son in 2013. Callies has opened up about the adoption, comparing the experience of her husband raising a child that isn't biologically his to Rick protecting her daughter in The Walking Dead. She stated to Cinema Blend, "My son is adopted and my husband is my son's father." The suggestion was met with widespread, racist glee. According to Business Insider, Schnatter's comments on the NFL protests aren't the only reason he's being hailed as a new pizza champion for the alt-right. He also denounced Obamacare in 2012, and later donated money to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Not surprisingly, Papa John's went into damage control mode, with an official statement to the Huffington Post from Peter Collins, Senior Director of Public Relations. It read, in part, "We condemn racism in all forms and any and all hate groups that support it. We do not want these individuals or groups to buy our pizza." He stepped down as CEO after 2017 proved to be a rough year for Schnatter. He announced he would be stepping down from his position as CEO in 2018. Anybody who has kids, I think, would recognize that not being related by blood isn't something that matters. Steven Yeun has been married since 2016 while The Walking Dead was never without hundreds of flesh-eating zombies and badass characters like Rick Grimes and Michonne fighting to stay alive. It also gave us some of the most memorable couples on the show, including the love story between Steven Yeun's character Glenn and Lauren Cohan's Maggie. The move came on the heels of controversy after Schnatter blamed NFL protests for falling business numbers, and the following PR nightmare of white supremacist groups tripping over themselves to support him. According to the Chicago Tribune, the Papa John's camp is keeping mum on whether or not the controversy is the reason he decided to step down in favor of longtime Chief Operating Officer Steve Ritchie, or if there are other things going on behind the scenes. Ritchie also refused to comment on the reasons behind the shake-up. He did say it's the right time to make this change, and added that Schnatter would still be the face of the company, especially when it comes to marketing. The plan was for Schnatter to remain as chairman of the board, but that didn't last long. Schnatter sued Papa John's in July 2018. The Icelandic saga-length story of Papa John's continued when the company was sued by its founder and namesake. Of course, that all came crashing down when Glenn met his untimely death in the season 7 premiere, which is regarded as one of the most heartbreaking moments in the show's history. Schnatter filed a lawsuit that claimed, among other things, that the company denied him access to records and books, that the board was heavy-handed with him, and that he was kicked out of the office space he sublet at their headquarters. Still, many fans speculated that Yeun and Cohan were romantically involved in real life. According to Forbes, they were also mentioned in the lawsuit that claimed the news outlet had falsely accused him of using a racial slur. Schnatter admitted that the slur had come from his mouth, but his attorney stressed there was a difference between using it and quoting someone else who had used it, which is what he claimed to have been doing. The lawsuit also claimed there was some shady business going on behind the closed doors of the boardroom, and that the company had planned this coup in advance. Forbes reached out to Papa John's, the company, who responded, "We are saddened and disappointed that John Schnatter has filed a needless and wasteful lawsuit in an attempt to distract from his own words and actions. Colleges cut ties with him." Schnatter's remarks have had some far-reaching consequences, and those consequences are perhaps best seen in the damaged relationship between the pizza giant and one-time benefactor, the University of Louisville. U of L, who once had Papa John's name and logo emblazoned across the campus, most notably on their Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, announced in July 2018 that they would be renaming it simply Cardinal Stadium. However, Cohan shut down those rumors in an interview with Rolling Stone where she shared, "There are entire websites dedicated to the proof that Steven and I are in a real relationship." The switch came after Schnatter's slur-laden conference call, and according to CNBC, it ended a multi-million-dollar deal between Papa John's and the school. They weren't the only ones to sever ties with the pizza maker. Which is always funny, because it's not. As Steven Yeun fans know, the actor has actually been married to his wife, photographer Joanna Pak, since 2016. According to Martha Stewart, the two met in 2009 with Yeun sharing, "She walked into the bar where I was a really bartender, and it was kismet. After that, I saw her every day for 6 months." In 2015, the pair were engaged, and a year later, Yeun married Pak in a California wedding with breathtaking views of Los Angeles. Scholarships.com reported that the University of Kentucky, Morehouse College, and Oregon State all ended their associations with Papa John's, and WKYT News reported that even the John H. Schnatter Family Foundation agreed that it was time for his name to go. Pak and Yeun have since become parents to 2 kids. John Bernthal is a Family Man actor. John Bernthal was a part of The Walking Dead in its earlier seasons, starring as Shane Walsh, Rick Grimes' partner at the King County Sheriff's Department and best friend, who begins an intimate relationship with Grimes' wife, Lori. Fans all witnessed his character change drastically from a caring person to a deceitful antagonist in Season 2, where he eventually meets his death at the hands of Grimes. His moniker was dropped from the John H. despite getting killed off early on in the show. Bernthal's character is still regarded as one of the best villains in the series. In real life, Bernthal is nothing like his Season 2 character. The actor is a devoted husband to his wife Erin Engel, a trauma nurse, who he met at a local bar, telling Men's Health, "I came over and was just rudely messing around, and I know this is the corniest thing in the world, but when I saw Erin, it was literally like angels were singing. I had never seen anyone so beautiful." Bernthal is also a family man and has 3 children with Engel. When speaking to ABC News about becoming the Punisher, a Marvel character who loses his family, for Netflix's Daredevil, he said, "There's no way I could even begin to tackle this role if I wasn't a father and a husband in my mind," adding, "You realize what it's like to love somebody more than yourself and be willing to give up your life for them in a heartbeat." Jeffrey Dean Morgan gushes over his wife Hilary Burton. Jeffrey Dean Morgan stars as Negan on The Walking Dead, a once vile villain who has since carried on the complexities of an anti-hero. Negan is also well known for his obsession with his bat Lucille, named after his dead wife, and used countless times to kill humans and walkers. Schnatter Institute for the Study of Free Enterprise, a business school largely founded and funded by Schnatter's contributions. Employees have made some serious accusations after the train started to come off the rails. Former and present Papa John's board members and executives took steps that they had been contractually forbidden from taking before. They talked to Forbes about what really went on behind closed doors. Forbes found that beginning in 2013, corporate employees were required to sign a non-disclosure agreement that prevented them not from sharing trade secrets, but from sharing anything about Schnatter's personal life. Of course, while Morgan is nothing like his brutal and stone-cold character, fans could say that like his beloved bat, Lucille, he does have an obsession for his real-life wife, Hilary Burton. As Morgan shared with HuffPost, he and Burton were set up on a blind date by his Supernatural co-star Jensen Ackles. That means Forbes needed to do some serious digging, and spent months piecing together a story told by numerous, and often anonymous, sources, putting together a picture of what they described as the company's bro culture. They uncovered settlements handed out after Schnatter was accused of stalking and sexual harassment, of pitting employees against each other, asking them to spy for him, and even of using disposable cell phones to conduct business. All the shadiness and the toxic work environment employees and ex-employees said Papa John's fostered was allegedly driven by the people at the top. Forbes found corporate has had a long history of employing not the best people for the job, necessarily, but people who encourage a frat boy culture thanks to their undying loyalty to Schnatter. There were sexual harassment accusations, too, when employees finally started talking to Forbes in 2018 and sharing just what had been going on behind closed doors for years. One of the things that came up over and over again was an environment of sexual harassment and horrible treatment of female employees. Forbes uncovered several settlements, handed out over cases of sexual harassment. One stemmed from an incident in 1999, when a mobile phone representative claimed Schnatter first groped, then stalked her. Schnatter's side of the story is quite different, and he claimed she tried to extort millions from him. The A-list stars kept their romantic relationship hidden from the public for quite some time until they welcomed a child in 2010. The pair welcomed a second in 2018, and finally tied the knot in 2019, with Burton telling people, "We had built this life together." The incident ended with a confidential settlement. There was another confidential settlement reached regarding an incident with one of the company's female marketing employees, and Forbes says 3 other sources independently confirmed there were more secret settlements. Other sources say Schnatter was fond of asking women their bra sizes, giving unwelcome hugs, commenting on coworkers' wives, and encouraging coworkers to bring mistresses to corporate events. "We'd had kids together.
I think there comes a point where you just don't want to go another day by being inauthentic about it. And, if that's not enough to make fans gush over these 2 stars, just check out their social media pages where Morgan has called Burton his best friend, and perfect, after wishing her a happy birthday on his Instagram. Coincidentally, Burton got a chance to star in The Walking Dead, alongside her husband as Lucille in Season 10's bonus episodes, per Entertainment Weekly. Did Norman Reedus and Diane Kruger get engaged? Norman Reedus' character Daryl Dixon on The Walking Dead has outlived many of his counterparts thanks to his survival skills, tough exterior, and ability to shoot arrows right through a walker's head. Other accusations leveled against other executives included creating a hostile environment where discussing porn and making lewd comments were the norm. Stores have been used in the drug trade. If you happened to ask for extra olives on your Papa John's pizza from a certain Washington state location, you might have gotten a surprise. One store wasn't just selling pizza, but cocaine, oxycodone, LSD, ecstasy, marijuana, and methamphetamine as well. Dixon is not a character in the comics, but Reedus impressed the people steering the ship during an audition for another character so much that they added him in as Merle's younger brother, per Screen Rant. Throughout most of the series, Reedus' on-screen counterpart is a lone wolf, but in real life? The actor is romantically linked to Diane Kruger. According to Us Weekly, the 2 met on the set of their 2015 movie, Sky. and began dating shortly after Kruger split from Joshua Jackson. In 2018, Reedus and Kruger welcomed a daughter, and the couple continues to share snippets of their family life on social media. Undercover officers bought drugs from restaurant employees on numerous occasions in a 2017 sting called Operation Extra Olives, and established the routine. After placing their order, they would simply wait in the parking lot for their pizza box full of drugs. Papa John's issued an official statement, saying, "Papa John's has zero tolerance for this type of offensive and illegal behavior." In July 2021, Kruger posted a photo on her Instagram of the duo on the beach while celebrating 5 years together. What's more, people reported in August 2021 that the two are apparently engaged, but they have yet to confirm it. The franchisee has confirmed that the employees involved with the situation are no longer employed, and we apologize for their actions. The franchisee is working in full cooperation with local law enforcement to resolve this matter. That store isn't the only one that's been linked to the drug trade, either. Either way, Dixon has found his match. Christian Cerrados is raising her daughter with partner David Boyd. Christian Cerrados portrays Rosita Espinosa in The Walking Dead, and has been on the series since Season 4, portraying a fierce warrior, battling both humans and walkers, with fans excited to see what becomes of her as the show ends with its 11th season. While her character has been romantically involved with characters like Abraham Ford, Michael Cudlitz, Sadiq, Avi Nash, and Gabriel Stokes, Seth Gilliam, in real life, Cerrados is happily raising a family with her boyfriend David Boyd. According to People, Cerrados and her partner Boyd, who is a Danish-American singer for the band New Politics, welcomed a daughter named Wolfgang in 2017. The new mom announced the birth of her daughter on Mother's Day on Instagram, sharing a sweet close-up holding her baby. In 2013, a Papa John's delivery man in Brooklyn was arrested for delivering more than just pizza. Talking to People about raising her daughter, she shared, "I wanted to be a mom for a long, long time. It's been everything that I thought it would be." Over the 2 years law enforcement had been investigating the store, around $40,000 worth of cocaine was sold to undercover officers alone. The company was once sued over 16 cents. Going to court over 16 cents seems completely insane, but that's exactly what Zachary Tucker did in 2016. According to the lawsuit, which was filed in Madison County, Illinois, Papa John's had been breaking state laws with every delivery. "That girl has mommy and daddy wrapped around her finger." Interestingly enough, Boyd got a chance to partake in The Walking Dead, with Cerrados, playing a zombie that his wife's character gets to kill. She told Entertainment Weekly, "He has just the perfect face for the Walker makeup," adding, "I was like, well, if we're going to have him on the show, I need to kill him. So he was a walker in the episode with me and Sonequa, and I killed him." Andrew Lincoln walked away from the series to be with his family. Andrew Lincoln's most recognizable role is without a doubt, The Walking Dead, protagonist Rick Grimes. While Illinois law states that business weren't allowed to collect taxes on delivery fees, as long as the price of the items were equal to or more than the delivery cost, Papa John's had been doing exactly that. He was a strong leader throughout the show and carried on being a survivor of a zombie-filled world even though viewers watched him disappear in Season 9. While Grimes began his journey with his wife Lori, played by Sarah Wayne Callies, who later dies, he ends up being romantically linked to Michonne Hawthorne, played by Denai Guerrera. Lincoln revealed that he left the show in 2018 to be with his family, telling Entertainment Weekly, "I have 2 young children, and I live in a different country, and they become less portable as they get older. It was that simple. It was time for me to come home." Lincoln has been married to his wife Gail Anderson, the daughter of Ian Anderson of the rock band Jethro Tull, since 2006. Talking to The Guardian about how understanding Anderson is with his hectic work life, he shared, "She's the reason I'm able to do this mad job." That meant the extra 16 cents Tucker found on his bill was representative of a bigger problem, and he filed a class action lawsuit that cited things like breach of contract, negligent misrepresentation, and violation of the Illinois Consumer Fraud Act. According to the official website for the class action lawsuit settlement, anyone who placed a delivery order from Papa John's between May 5, 2009 and May 6, 2016 was eligible for a piece of the pie. "She has built a life in Atlanta while I'm away filming. I don't have a smartphone or apps or anything and people ask me why. I say, my wife is my app. She's magnificent." For their part, Papa John's denied any wrongdoing. but says they opted to settle the lawsuit by paying claimants instead of going through a lengthy and expensive trial. They've had all kinds of disputes over paying their employees. Papa John's and its franchisees have had more than their fair share of disputes over paying their employees, and in 2015, more than 19,000 delivery drivers were awarded a settlement for their part in a lawsuit that was filed in 2009. She's in the most honorable profession in the world. She's a full-time mom. Tom Payne marries model Jennifer Ackerman during the coronavirus lockdown. Actor Tom Payne portrayed Paul, Jesus, Rivera on the AMC series, arriving later on in Season 6 up until his death in Season 9 by a walker, which Payne was all on board for after telling Comic Book that he was kind of ready to leave anyway. He went on to share that he was apprehensive and unsure of how Jesus would die, given that he is the most capable fighter out of anyone. That apprehension fell to the wayside, as Payne said that it was really cool how his character met his fate. Now that Payne is no longer a part of the series, he might have more time to spend with his new wife Jennifer Ackerman, who he married in December 2020, after delaying their wedding because of the coronavirus. As Payne recalled on Live with Kelly and Ryan, the pair decided to get hitched at their home with their contractor as their officiant. Ackerman shared her wedding bliss with her Instagram followers, captioning a photo of the pair, "Last night me and the love of my life got married. After having to cancel our wedding back in April and not knowing how long the world will be under lockdown, we felt like we still wanted to end this year as husband and wife, so we did." David Morrissey separated from his wife Esther Freud. There is no doubt that when looking at a list of the evilest villains on The Walking Dead, Philip Blake, best known as the Governor, scores high in the rankings. According to the suit, drivers across 6 states were unfairly paid for their services. Portrayed by actor David Morrissey, this antagonist was purely sadistic and a madman, and Morrissey brilliantly captured all that until his death in Season 4. While Morrissey's character was too busy being manipulative and conniving for a long-lasting relationship, in real life, the actor was married to novelist and great-granddaughter of Sigmund Freud, Esther Freud, for 13 years until they separated in 2019, per Daily Mail. Before the two split, Morrissey, who shares 3 children with Freud, had nothing but nice things to say about his former wife, telling The Independent in 2011, "My greatest inspiration." While AAA and the IRS both recommended a wage of between 45 and 55 cents per mile, Papa John's was regularly paying their delivery drivers between $1 and $1.50 per delivery, regardless of how many miles were traveled. "Is my wife, Esther. I thought writers were inspired people, but she taught me that it's about getting to your desk each day, not waiting for magical inspiration to fly through the window and hit you." Andrew J. The settlement was for no small change, either. The drivers split a whopping $12.3
million, dropping the company's quarterly profits by 36%. That same year, Papa John's made headlines again when one of their franchisees was sent to jail for not paying his employees overtime. West met his future wife on the set of another show. When viewers look back at the villains of The Walking Dead, they'll remember Gareth, the leader of Terminus, played by actor Andrew J. West in Season 4. While his character was devious and extreme, he was no match for Rick Grimes, who quickly took him out at the start of the very next season with his red-handled machete. Even with a brief appearance on the AMC series, West was happy with the outcome of his character, telling Entertainment Weekly, "It's such a monumental and brutal blaze of glory way to go out. So there wasn't some big traumatic shock reading the episode. I knew what was coming and I could just enjoy it at that point." Before portraying a vile murderer on The Walking Dead, West was known for his character Fisher, a college student in the comedy drama Greek, on ABC Family. It was also where he would meet his future wife Amber Stevens, who starred as his love interest. The New York City-based owner of 9 locations was accused of creating false employees to bill overtime hours to, avoiding paying his actual employees time and a half for their work. More than 300 employees were targeted by the scheme, and Abdul Jamil Coker ended up serving 60 days in jail and paying out $230,000. Papa John owes someone a lot of pizza. When Schnatter was a college student at Ball State University, he was dreaming of the day he could open his own pizza shop. He approached a marketing major who lived a few doors down in his dorm and asked him to come up with a name and logo for his future shop, Schnatter explained to Business Insider. According to Page 6, after learning that West would play her boyfriend on the show, she immediately took interest in him and the two began speaking on Facebook. Just a few weeks later, they began dating, with Stevens telling the outlet, "We've been together ever since, and that was 10 years ago." People reported that the pair got married in 2014, and have since welcomed 2 children named Ava and Winona. Sonequa Martin Green married fellow actor Kenrick Green. Actor Sonequa Martin Green starred as the fierce Sasha Williams in The Walking Dead, and even though her character was supposed to have a minor role and wasn't in the comics, the series creator Glenn Matsara knew that her character would become an asset to the killing of walkers and humans, and she stuck around until season 7. With that, the name and logo for Papa John's was born. He promised the designer he would give him a free pizza a week, for life, if his pizzeria plans ever took off. Martin Green told The Hollywood Reporter, "Sasha was supposed to be a recurring character, and as we kept going forward, they picked up my option to be a regular. It's very rare and I'm still quite dumbfounded about it, but Glenn and I hit it off and I still appreciate him." While Martin Green's character had minor relationships in the show, in real life, she has been married to actor Kenrick Green since 2010. They are parents to 2 children named Kenrick Green II and Soraya Chante, with their daughter arriving during the coronavirus pandemic in 2020. Only one problem: Schnatter has no idea who the guy is, and he's never come forward. Schnatter estimates that by now, he owes the clever man about $16,000 in pizza. They were sued over sending text message spam. Twice in 2013, Papa John's was on the receiving end of another massive class action lawsuit, this time for sending around 500,000 spam text messages to customers. The actor shared the news of the birth of her daughter on Instagram, captioning a picture holding her while gazing at her husband. "It was a profoundly beautiful home birth, and now both of our children have been born in the water." The suit's plaintiffs were looking for $250 million from the pizza giant, claiming it wasn't just the sheer volume of messages that were annoying, but the fact that some customers spammed in the middle of the night, and customers hadn't even authorized the service. While they were looking for at least $500 per text message to be paid out, they didn't get quite that much. "We never felt that anything was missing, but now that she's here, we feel a perfect sense of completeness." Martin Green's husband also stars in The Walking Dead, portraying Scott in the AMC show. Xander Berkeley found love on the set of 24. Actor Xander Berkeley found himself playing the role of Gregory, the self-absorbed leader of the Hilltop Colony who meets his untimely death in The Walking Dead, Season 9 premiere.
Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter about being killed off so early on in the season, Berkeley said, "There's so many moving parts and pieces and the way in which it all fits together, and there's all these truly beloved characters that they knew maybe they had a short amount of time left with, and they needed to maximize the real estate on their characters, and that meant bringing other things around to a conclusion. I can't even imagine what that mental dance is." Papa John settled the suit for $16.5 million in 2013, even though they claimed they weren't at fault. Instead, they blamed the texting service they employed and claimed the customers in question had given the go-ahead to send the messages when they placed their order. Shockingly, that's not the only time such a lawsuit has been filed against Papa John's, and in February 2017 Jonathan Annozzi sued them for relentlessly bombarding him with deals for 2 large, 5-topping pizzas for $9.99. He cited mental anguish as the reason for his lawsuit. There have been a number of racism accusations. Companies only have so much control over what their employees say or do. But Papa John's has been doing a huge amount of damage control when it comes to accusations of racism against their employees. In 2013, John Schnatter himself issued a public apology after one of his company's delivery men accidentally redialed a customer and left a racist rant on his voicemail. The man was mostly complaining about the tip he'd been given, and the 4-minute message was filled not only with racial slurs, but the sound of laughter coming from his coworker. Both were fired. That came not long after another incident in New York City in 2012. The year 2016 wasn't great, either. But I'm always a little in awe and impressed by it. Besides his role as Gregory in the horror drama, Berkeley is also best known for the role of George Mason of Fox's 24. It is also where he met actor Sarah Clark, who starred as Agent Nina Myers, and who he ended up marrying in 2002, per 24 spoilers. Talking to the outlet about falling in love on set, Berkeley gushed, "It was like there was no possibility of escape for either of us, and no desire to either." According to Decor Maine, the couple, who lived in busy Los Angeles because of their acting careers, have settled in Maine with their 2 daughters. "This is the place to create the bigger picture," Berkeley shared with the publication in 2020. A 17-year-old customer received his pizza, from a Denver location, with a racial slur on the receipt in July, just a month after a Louisville, Kentucky woman got her pizza with another racist name written on it. As for Papa John's stance, they issued a statement after the Denver incident that read, "This action is inexcusable and doesn't reflect our company values." They were sued over their slogan. You're probably familiar with Papa John's slogan, "Better ingredients, better pizza." It's straightforward enough, but in 1998, Pizza Hut sued them for false advertising. The claim was that there was no actual, concrete evidence that Papa John's was using better ingredients, or that those ingredients made a better pizza. According to Pizza Hut, the whole thing was in violation of something called the Lanham Act, which protects consumers from purposefully misleading advertising. In what was only the first blow to the story, Pizza Hut won, and Papa John's was ordered to pull all the so-called misleading marketing materials. Papa John's appealed, saying it was clearly meant to be an opinion, not scientific fact, while also saying that there was no scientific proof that Pizza Hut had the best pizza under one roof, so what gives? The ruling was overturned on appeal, and that's why you still hear the slogan today. And it's also why Pizza Hut and Papa John's really hate each other. They were weirdly secretive about ingredients. Papa John's adopted their better ingredients, better pizza slogan in 1995. And you might think they'd be more than happy to tell everyone just what they were eating when they took a bite out of a Papa John's pizza. When food writer and journalist Melanie Warner tried to track down a Papa John's ingredient list in 2013, she found herself stonewalled at every turn. She found no ingredient lists on their website, in their stores, or in its own literature. Phone calls and requests for allergen information went unanswered, and when she went to her local Papa John's locations, it turned out that the employees didn't really know what was in the pizzas, either. Warner noted that not only did many chains voluntarily publish their ingredients, but that it was odd that Papa John's would opt out when their entire advertising campaign rested on the laurels of their ingredients. The media ran with the discovery that proud Papa John's was mum on the actual details, and today, you can find a list of all Papa John's ingredients on their website.
Papa John's has been accused of privacy violations. The Twitterverse exploded in 2015 after Iggy Azalea took aim at Papa John's in general and one of its drivers in particular after she found out he'd shared her phone number with his family, who then started calling her. According to her stream of tweets, not only did her number get shared, but she claimed that Papa John's refused to share photos of their employees so she could identify the driver. That was in February, and in March she talked a little bit more with Ryan Seacrest about what happened and clarified that not only was she not pursuing legal action but that all was well. She had been issued a formal apology from corporate and been assured that all the appropriate disciplinary action had been taken, but Vice used the incident to bring up a major issue when it came to ordering food online, over the phone, or paying with a credit card. If you read the fine print of your Papa John's online account, there's a portion that says it's only by opting out that you forbid them from selling your information to other merchants. That information is then compiled and sold by companies like Nextmark, which means that not opting out of offers like Papa John's means that you might just find yourself on lists you'd prefer not to be on. The first pizza shop was in a broom closet once his dad's tavern was in good standing. Schnatter knocked out a wall in the broom closet and started making pizza with used equipment. After a year of delivering pizzas out of the back of a bar, he had made enough in profits to open his first shop, the very first Papa John's. Since then, the business has grown exponentially. Today, there are more than 4,700 Papa John's restaurants in the world, including more than 1,200 international shops in 37 countries. That's a long way to come from a pizza oven in a broom closet. Schnatter owns a pretty ridiculous mansion. According to the popular real estate blog Curbed, Papa John resides in an over-the-top mansion in his home state of Kentucky that boasts a remarkable 40,000 square feet. The estate is complete with such lavish features as a 22-car garage, car wash, and 6,000 square foot carriage house in addition to regular rich people amenities like a golf course and a swimming pool. To put these numbers in perspective, a typical one-bedroom apartment in New York City is about 750 square feet on average. Millionaire former presidential candidate Mitt Romney was reportedly in considerable awe upon visiting Schnatter's home. Coming from a man worth a whopping $250 million himself, that's really saying something. Schnatter is a very vocal Republican. It's no surprise that Papa John's recognizable red shirt and official company color is bright red. John Schnatter is an extremely rich and very public supporter of the Republican Party and its conservative political agenda. A rich guy who wants to protect his wealth? Shocking. According to the Arizona Republic, Schnatter contributed a pretty sum of $20,000 to the party in July 2016 alone. In 2012, he openly criticized President Obama's healthcare plan by claiming that it would increase the price of pizza by 14 cents, the projected cost of providing insurance to his full-time employees. Many customers spoke out, saying they wouldn't mind paying an extra dime and nickel the next time they craved greasy pizza accompanied by that delicious garlic dipping sauce. They hired mystery shoppers across the country with so many stores nationwide. You might be wondering how John Schnatter deals with quality control of the pizzas that go out under his name. The answer? Mystery shoppers. When sales numbers plummeted in 1999, John knew he had to do something to reverse the slump. He put forth an initiative to employ anonymous shoppers to visit Papa John's locations for the purpose of tasting the pizzas and ensuring that they were up to standards. And it worked. Papa John was a tough boss. Schnatter's success makes it apparent that he has high standards, but some former coworkers claim he takes things too far. Marketing expert Jack Trout, who has worked with Schnatter in the past, said Schnatter made others nervous, saying he walks up and down the halls, like a big cat, stalking. His attitude may have been the reason behind the company's once high turnover at the executive level, but Schnatter says his methods eventually became less harsh, and pointed to the fact that his executives at that time had an average of 12 years with the company. He inspired fear at the store level, too. Schnatter liked to make surprise visits to his pizza shops to inspect their product for quality control, sometimes even dumping pies if they didn't meet his standards. John's standards are so high, Chris Sternberg, a Papa John's vice president, told People. When you meet them, you've really done something.